Hi, this is Paul Lynch from the Tank Modeler channel, and this is a channel update, I suppose. My first one I've ever done. I haven't done it since I've started with Switcher actually, and as I said before, I'm really grateful to Switcher actually to get me into the UTM2. He popped my cherry, as he called it at the time, and I'm really loving it. It's a great way of communicating with other modelers and looking at their work and commenting on it and getting comments in reverse. I've only ever had one negative, and that was just a one-off. It doesn't put me off at all, obviously, because I enjoy the hobby so much, so you can put up with that. And it's, at the end of the day, most models, when we build them, as long as we are happy with what we've done, that's part and parcel of the job. But it's also nice to take information from people like Switcher in regards to improvements you can do and where you can just go that little step further. Just like with my Mark IV tank that I was building, I actually did what I thought was a nice reddish brownish green on my Mark IV female tank that we're doing in a buddy build, and I was really happy with the colour. But then when Switcher pointed out and I went back and had a look, I thought, no, I'm not. I actually need to change that, and I did, and I'll just bring that into him. So that's the vehicle I was building with Switcher. Still am building it. Excuse the cake dish, because that's where I keep my things to keep dust off them while I'm just keeping them stored. But there's the girl in question. I'll just come down a bit further. I'll move that back a little bit. There you go. She doesn't want to focus, does she? There you go. Anyway, but if I just turn it slightly, you can see what I mean. She's nearly there. I've got a bit more weathering to do. I just haven't had time recently to get onto it. Well, I will do, because I've been doing another little project for the local shop. But this will be the next thing. I've got the cans all done. They're somewhere. I've moved the little devils. Let's have a look. There we go. I've got some oil cans, and I'm just going to put that there. I think you can see them. They're in black, glossy black. There's a little low on there. I don't know if you can see that at all. Yeah, it might not be able to. It's too small, most probably. But it's a little low on there, stating that's oil, and that's what I've done. I've done 2 oil cans and 3 with a W on. I have got decal sheet you can print on, and I was tempted to do some small W's, do a print on paper till I get the size I want, and then print a little bit on a decal sheet. But I decided against it. I think a lot of them during that period would have been hand painted anyway, because by the crews to actually utilise the cans in question. So there you go. One of the things I didn't like was the fact that it's been written that they also sometimes put water into ex-fuel cans. Very dodgy, I would have thought. Couldn't have done their stomachs much good. But anyway, that is evidently true. Most of the fuel cans that we used were at the early on part of the war were painted from the manufacturer, and they would normally come in the manufacturer colour, like red or blue, depending on which company manufactured them. Anyway, but I've done mine black because one of the regulations come out a bit later on. Anything other than the fuel would have to be painted in glossy black. So, and that was in a regulation that came out by the army in World War One. So that's what I've gone with that, and I've got to put them into these little bay at the back. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, but that's what this little thing, this little video is about. So that's where I am going. It's coming along quite nicely. I'm really pleased with it. I've done a bit of mud on the tracks, as I said, and a bit of mud around the side. I've got a bit more to put in, not too much, because mine's going to be not quite so heavily. I know Switcher's going into a real heavy one because he's putting it in a drama. And I've seen pictures of some of these vehicles in black and white, I'm afraid, but where they're still looking a bit like this, bit of mud on the tracks, and they look clean, pretty clean. So I'm quite happy with as it is, but I'm going to go a little bit more. And also add a bit more to rust to the exhaust, because Switcher sent me a picture today and I received it. A lovely bit of rusting on there, and he really has gone to town. It looks nice. I know he said he's going to subdue it a bit with a bit more weathering, but I like the idea, and I might just put a bit of fresher rust in place just to give it a little hint. But mine was meant to be a sort of an exhaust that's been used for a little while. It will eventually rust up, but it's not pickled at all at the moment. Anyway, so let's put the cover back on that. That's just over the other side of my desk where I can work on when I want to. Well, there we go. So the project I said I was working on as well was for the local model shop. It's called Faversham Model Shop, a little small concern with a bloke called Harvey that runs it. Great little model shop, can get whenever you want when you need it. But there you go. This is what I'm doing for him, for his actual display in his window. So I don't know if you can see, I haven't completed it, but I've done quite a bit on it. This is just paint, and I've actually used Tamiya's earth paint, which is like a textured paint, to get it surface. So I actually did it brown, then the texture paint on it, and then I went over with a light green, and then I went in with a sort of a drabbish green over the green, so you've got combinations of greens and a little bit of brown in there just to give it a grassy look. Now it looks a bit grassy like that, but obviously I've got some grass effects to put on it and some other bits and pieces. The doors in the picture on the box do come in blue, as they say, and I'm going to keep to what it is on the box. I've still got all the details of, excuse me, all the bricks to paint and a bit of wear on it, and all the cracks and rubble. All the bricks and rubble could be painted, and then I'll be putting grass effects on it and all. So it's coming along quite nice. This is the one for mini art. This is called the farm wall, I think. So I think I've got a box here, and I might be able to show you that quickly. Hold on, that's the only box I haven't got with me, so excuse me, I'll be back in a second. I'm back. Here we go. Right, so just to give you an idea of what it is, the colours that are going to be done there. But that's the colours I've gone so far. I've still got a bit of paint. I've done a bit of sort of pre-shading a bit on it. I've got a bit more to do, so I'll put that over there for a moment. This is the box art in question, so you can see what's going to come out. As you can see, they've got turfs of grass on it in the places, and I'm going to be doing exactly that. And I've got some small turfs out there. Mine's meant to be, the reason I'm doing that green is mine's meant to be the sort of it's the height of summer, and the grass is going faded brown where it doesn't get much water. That's the idea behind them. It's just a little idea. I mean, I've never done a dry run before, not in this stage, and I know this is a kit. And what I would say about these kits, when you buy one of these mini art kits, they're nice, but what you've got to remember is they've got an unassembled plastic model kit, which is true, but what it should say in brackets, a percentage of it is a reason. I'll say 50% for just one of a percentage. 50% of it is vac formed, which means you've got to cut them off a big plastic sheet and then actually do them out. Now I will be doing another one because I've ordered a street corner one, so I can have a diorama for my Sherman that I'm building for later on. It must probably be next year now, but it could be this year if I get a nice run of models. And I'm building that diorama, and that is the same. It's done by Mini Art. This one is 36033, still available evidently because the local shop gave me this to build for them, so I didn't pay for this one. And I think it was about £20 or something, like £25 if you bought it. I don't know the price on it. I'm not sure. No, there isn't. No, he just gave me the box to build it. He was going to build it himself, but me, being me, I actually volunteered. But I've enjoyed it, and I'm still enjoying it. So it is a sort of something different from a model kit in regards to that, with it being in vac form. I built vac form years ago, tried to build one, and never got on with it. I think what it is, I didn't have the patience, because you've got to have a bit of patience to do the old circular motions once to get the base joints, these wall sections to join and butt up lovely. They do need a bit of reinforcing inside. I didn't do it on this model, I must admit. I got away without doing it, but obviously with a slightly bigger building you might need reinforcements, but I'll explain that when I do the kit. There is one or two other people on the web that have shown building one, so you can go to them as well, and they got really good explanations of how they processed and got through the process. Anyway, so that's it. So if you are interested in that kit, basically it's 36033, and it's about it's got it on there, the box measurements there. I don't know if you can see them. No, you can't. I'll read them out then. The length is 346 millimeters, but the width is 207 millimeters. So quite a nice size. And if I was to put my tank, whoops, excuse me, if I turn it like that way so you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, might be able to get that way a bit better this time, and put my tank on it to give you an idea just by looking with the vehicle on it. Now this is not going to go on it, but there you go. If I put that there, you can see what I mean. It's quite a reasonable size, and you can see there. Now this, to me, this base would be perfect for a Panzer III or a tank, any tank vehicle with a turret, basically with its facing towards the gate, with its barrel pointing out the side, because there's a bit of a board on the other side, as you can see. I think that would make a nice Panzer III, and I actually can be doing one, and talk about that later on. I might build, well, my one I'm building is obviously a street set, not going to be with Sherman, but this is going to the model shop, so every time I build a model, normally he wants to put a little bit on display. So there you go. So it gives you an idea then how big it is. But the measurement is 346 millimeter in length and 207 millimeter in width. There you go. So I'll just move that out of the way. I'll put my lid on it, and then it can sit on top of me cake dish, as I call it. I've got one or two of those because I think I've got three in total. one of them's a really long one, so if I'm building a longer vehicle with a long barrel, I can actually get it in undercover. During a building process, you don't get dust all over the kit while it's sitting around waiting for you, especially if you want it to sit on the shelf for a little while. Right, so that is that. The next one is where's that gone now? Damn it, funny. You think you've got things prepared and you haven't. Excuse me again. Cool, this is good fun, isn't it? Might even be in here. Oh yes it is, it's behind me, silly devil. Never mind, over we go to that bit. I'm back again. Right. I had a little parcel come through the airmail yesterday. There she is. Now I was out in the garden and it hit me on the head. So I knew it came from airmail. That's a bad joke. I've already let Switcher know that one. But anyway, Switcher sent this me via the airmail as it were, and because we basically have crossed over each other a few times with a little gift goes one way and a little gift comes back the other way. So, but he's building the World War One trench and he's doing a great job of it, and he's that is part of his build. The buddy build for me and Switcher really is the tanks, but he's going a bit further with the World War One Mark IV mail tank. He's actually putting it on a trench detail, the diorama, that he's actually building himself. But what he done, he purchased these bits to do the diorama, but he decided to go and build it himself. So what he done is knew I was thinking about making a trench a bit later on, perhaps early next year, for my tadpole, which is a longer version of both the male and the Mark IV male and female, to give it a better trench crossing. That's what it was meant to do. So what he's done is he sent me this. Now here we go. So if I undo the box here, there we go. So what you get in the box is a little idea about the trench. There's some figures here, but I presume they're the ones he kept in the box, but that's okay because he's just sent me the trench details, these trench bits, which is really all I need, to be quite honest. Now you can get, I've measured it out, it's about 9 inches, and he actually told me that on his email. It goes at 9 inches, and what you get in the box with the bits that he had as well, because I presume that is a copy of the actual thing, so he got figures with his as well. The British troops going over the top, as they call it. These are the tops of the trenches. Now it gives you an idea how long it is. You get 4 of these sheets, 4. So 2 of them together is about 9 inches, which is perfect to go across a board, sort of a third of the way in with a tank going over the top of it. I won't be going so far as putting troops in my trench. I'm going to have it empty, where basically the troops have seen the tank coming and thought, oh my god, and got out of the way and left it. So you're going to see the trench empty from when I build my one. But it's got everything you need. It's got the trench itself, the trench sides. It's even got plates down the bottom for the base of the trench, and some posts and bits and pieces to build. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I might even build the trench bits on their own, and then obviously I have to build trench bits first and then build the base around them rather than the other way around. So thank you very much, Switcher. I've got them, and they're behind me. They're sitting in my little place where I model, and that is definitely on the cards for next year to me to do that. And that would be a little job on the side outside rather than doing it on the web. I might show what it looks like at the end, but this will be a little side thing. Just every time I get 5 minutes I'll spend a little time on that, obviously when glue is drying and all that sort of thing. I'm waffling again. Anyway, so there you go. That's my my bit from Switcher. Thank you very much again, Switcher. Brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. Right, acquisitions that I've got recently. This is the first one. This is the one This is the one I've got. They come recently, and this in the local shop. And this is the new Tamiya Easy 8, basically the Sherman Easy 8. Now, I've always liked it, and the other version I like is the Jumbo, and I've actually got that coming from Australia because it's the only place I can get one. And it's the Tusker version, and I really like the Jumbo because one of the facts I really like is when I read in one of the books, it said about it being one of the first tanks in Bastogne during World War II, and when it was breaking in because the troops were encircled, and basically they broke through, and the first tank to get through and into the actual area was an M4 Jumbo. And I remember reading a little comment about the fact that the commander of the tank rung up his headquarters section leader or whatever it was, and not radio I should say, and said, we've just taken Bastogne, and the question come back on how big a front, and the commander called out to one of his crew. He said, how big a front do you think we've taken? He said, about the width of a Sherman. So that took me a long, but I've always liked the look of the vehicles. It's big, beefy, got extra armour on the sides and the front just to take that bit more pounding from the Panthers and still survive. That's the idea of it. Anyway, so I've always liked that particular version. I've liked the Easy 8 and I must admit. And anyway, this is a Tamiya one, and I'm not going to do an inbox review, but all I will say is I've got some extra parts for it. I've even got a bit to update the machine gun a little bit with the barrel and the spacing for the cooling. And I've also got the photo etch parts, which is the Edward stuff. I'll talk about that later, but it's all a bit of detail. Oh, and the Fro model tracks, the T66 version, which is the one that comes with this, but it's a belt one. I really like the idea of the metal through tracks being on this vehicle. It had that extra bit of touch to it. So that's one of my future builds, and that's one of the vehicles, along with the Jumbo later on, that will be possibly going on my other mini art kit that comes with a street corner, because there's enough room to have two vehicles there, as if they've just called in the city. It's a bit of a ruined city, but it's I think it look nice with a drama like that. I'm not into dramas in a big way, but I'm definitely thinking about that for this. So a bit of show. I might have to get some soldiers, again, American soldiers, and a few civilians perhaps. The reason for that is I'm not a great figure painter, but I'm willing to learn, and as Switcher would say, it's nice to bite the cherry and have another little go at something you've never done before. A bit like doing my little diamond here. I've never done one before, and I'm giving it a bash. And so far, I've enjoyed it doing it. So there you go. So that's going to be one of my future builds. Hopefully, sometime this year, that one. Another thing is, because I've still got to finish the Mark IV off with Switcher for the buddy build, and as I said, it's getting near the end anyway, but we're going to both produce our videos at the same time for that, so that I'm going to wait for him to say he's finished, and then we're going to put them up together. I'm going to put mine just after his, like I did last time. Another thing is, there's the Barker, Tactical Jackalopes Barker's build, and and it says Barkus loves the Panzer III, which I know he does because I've seen his website, and he's a great modeller, so I decided to join that buddy build. And it's a group build, I think I should call it, a group build, because it's not a buddy build, it's a group one. So you're all doing your own thing, but just doing updates every now and then. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing one of two vehicles. Now I'll decide near the time. Now I'm not sure whether to do my Stug, because that is a Panzer III. Stug 3, it's got Zimmer and everything. It's one of the old, one of the early ones. I've had it for quite a while. It's about a couple, 3 years, I suppose. And it's got the old cards on it, the old Dragon cards, as they used to say. So they've got that one to build. I've also got, I'll move that one out there, which is possibly my go-to one for now, for the next one. This was possibly the main one I might do, which is the Panzer IIIN, which saw service right through. The Panzer III saw service right through to the end of the war. But this was the last version, really, in regards to the fact that it had the short 75mm gun, which was actually put on the Panzer IV originally. So therefore, you know, you can imagine the Panzer III was regarded as the gun tank, or tank-to-tank weapon, and the Panzer IV was regarded as a support vehicle for infantry, where their roles reversed, because the turret ring on the Panzer IV could actually take the larger gun. And basically, once it got to the L60 version of the L60 version of the L50, the 50mm L60 gun, this one couldn't actually do anything after that. So they reverted it to the Panzer 74, to the short L24 version of the 75mm gun was on the Panzer IV, and it carried on in service. And of course, ammunition improved over time, so it had a bit more penetration values with the new ammo. But at the end of the day, it still had to be really close to do any real damage to some of the major heavies on the Russian front, or even against some of the bigger tanks against the British and the Americans. So anyway, this could be my one, or that Stug. I have got another one that's got I've got the Stug 3 Osthoff F8, which have got the old extended tracks, Winterketten, I think they call them. Excuse my German pronunciations, but I think this is the one I'm edging towards at the moment. So that could be my next build. That's going to be my Bex. Now I said I'd start it in September. It could start a bit earlier, but that's just what a time scale gave myself. But I could be starting that earlier, who knows. But that's the one I'm going to be possibly doing, well, near enough 90% chance doing for the Barker's build with Tactical Jackalope. There you go. What else is there? Right then, so that's that. I'm going to back off that. The other thing is, I think that is it really, acquisition wise. Acquisition wise was at Sherman, Oh, and there's the T 66 tranks for the Sherman, obviously from Pro Model. I really do like it. You can feel the weight of them, they're really nice, and there's no sag required on the Sherman, but I still think they'd be looking really nice on that. What else can I show you that I want to build sometime this year? Ah, there you go, I'll do that. Sometime this year, if I can. Like I said, it's all plans. I've also had this for a long time when it first came out. This was the initial one. This is the Tiger 181. And it's the from 502 Leningrad in 1943. It's a 3-in-1 kit, they call it. That means you only get one kit, but you get 3 opportunities to do it. And within this box, you've got all the extras still, because obviously I got this one when it was the first one. I don't know if you can see that, the bucket, all the metal eyes, the springs, the shells, gun rammer, smoke dischargers, tubes, all there in metal, and a metal gun barrel of course, and the spring for actually the recoil. Not that I'm going to worry about that too much, but it will be done. On the other side, you can see what I mean, there you go. It's a lovely model, and I've had it for a while, and I thought it's about time. And I haven't built a Tiger for so long, since the Tamiya ones early on when I first started, because obviously I've just come back into modelling again sort of about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Just got back into it a bit more, because obviously I'm retired now, so I can enjoy the hobby, which I used to find hard to do when I was at work. Too many long hours. But anyway, so that's another one I want to build as well. So I've got the Tiger there. Also, there's one thing that is on the way to me, and that's the Tamiya's new M10. Looking forward to that, because another one of those tanks that always appealed to me, because I was in the war from sort of 1942, I think it's 42, from in Africa, and worked all the way through to Germany and Berlin at the end of the war. So they saw a lot of service. So, and that's the M10 tank destroyers. Right then, so that's basically it. So that is really my update for this channel, of future possible builds, and also 1 or 2 acquisitions. So, without further ado, thank you very much for watching and listening to my waffling, because it's exactly what I've done, and thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.